Oh my. It's a, what do you call that when you have three of something? A triple header? Is that what it is? Yeah, it must be. Ooh, big day. You think it's a big day? It's 7/19/17, and this is Kathy Vick, who is, what, everybody? Deeply awake, having a chat in 2017. So here's the deal, dudes. I've been able to, this is like my day out of time. I know we get one right before the eclipse. I'm aware of that. Or right before something. I don't know what it is, but we get a day at a time. It's coming up. The last time I was aware of there being a Mayan day at a time, holy crap, did my life just, woo! The next day it jumped, and it jumped hard. Right into something brand new. I mean, it was one way the day before, and then there was this day, and I knew everybody was making decisions. I could feel it. It was a day to just be quiet and wait. And the next day, oh my. 3, 2, 1, launch. Who knows? Who knows if this kind of day out of time has the same kind of potency the other one did. But my guess is, given what I know, it should be a big one. I think it's the 23rd. I think that it's the solar new year. That was, I think that's correct, and I think that is typified or represented in living organic matter in the newest crop circle, saying, hello, this is a stunner of a year, huh? Because it's a brand new solar year coming up. And the day before is one of those pesky days at a time. Whee! So, today has been a very lovely day to walk through the garden, which is me, really. And it's been weird and good. Weird? How has it been weird, Kathy? Oh, please do tell us. It's all so interconnected. It's just past goggling at or being taken away in gratitude by, or using as proof that I'm magical. Nope. It's just another day in the neighborhood. And everybody's involved. Everyone is involved. And on cue, here they come onto the stage, bringing this message home, bringing that message home, and then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another. Given that, okay. All right. Today, this is my work, and it's phenomenal work. So, it's fine by me. But that's sort of the point of coming to you again. And it's not really, oh, well, I've decided to change, and I can't do this anymore. It's not like that. But I've, through a series of really amazing physical realizations, I'm getting it. The truth of it. That what I've been finding to be so true. It is through just really, really feeling love in a warm, liquid velvet way for physicality that is not based on survivalism, but an expression of my deeper understanding of reality. So how I want to label this is there is no fence, because I really, really love in the Matrix, there is no spoon. How do you bend a spoon? Well, it is impossible. It is not possible to bend the metal. What is possible is understanding there is no spoon. Boop, and then the spoon melts. And what I've come back to again and again is that ding-dang fence. Because, once again, the fence metaphor came to me in Technicolor. Yeah, there's a fence. On one side of the fence is one way or reality or whatever. And on the other side of the fence is another. You can think of it in terms of dimensions. Is the third the fifth? Is the fourth the sixth? Well, if they are, then what are we talking about dimensions for? They're different. And what's possible in one isn't possible in another. The trouble between this fence, line between, this cleave, there are human beings. It's not just like there's books with ideas. It's not fascism over there and democracy over there. It's not like that. There's somebody with a face on one side of the fence and somebody with a face on the other side of the fence. It's a little trippy to realize that the face is the same, but when we are considering, conflicts, it's helpful to have different faces, a different agenda, different flavors of expression, different motivations, different realities, different consciousnesses. And that's what's going on. And I didn't really get any of this until actually some of it's coming right now. I've also been urged to channel, which I'm kind of uncertain about at this point. What I saw this afternoon was beautiful and helpful, and I'm trying to explain it in words now. Yeah, there's a fence. And it really does look like one against the other. Of course it's not. There's no hand-to-hand combat. There can't be. There's a fence there. Can there be a threat? Well, not really. Not really. But the thing is that in this particular scenario, there are two people. One on one side and one on the other. And there's one on one side who is got their face all, snarled up and is really upset and feeling small and icky. Not feeling very loved, that's for sure. By self or by anybody else. But convinced that that's the only way, Convinced that they're actually as happy as they can be in this situation. And it's icky. And it hurts to be there because there's only threat and victory from threat. There's only enemy and victory over enemy. There's no questioning about whether oneself may actually be the enemy. There's none of that. There's kill or be killed, eat or be eaten. It's familiar, isn't it? The one with the most toys wins, all that. And all that goes along with it. All the trappings. All the trappings. And on the other is this other knowing. And for a long time that person looks over at the reality of the one it faces and can only see that. Cannot appreciate that there's a fence because it's so consuming and it's so self-referential and it's so threatening and it's so exhilarating. And so that person looks and once in a while something in their environment pulls them away and they look around and realize that they've been watching something, but then right back at it. There's a fence, but they're watching and living it. And now it can be said. When you don't believe there's a fence, there is no fence. And so there's complete immersion within a reality that's presented as exclusive, but which is not. Well, this has been a time for maybe the broadcast to not be quite as overpowering. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. Because the ground that the observer is sitting on, standing on, keeps humming. And the air is sweetening and there's stuff happening. It's really good. But it's harder and harder to believe that what is being seen is the only game in town. But I also understood something sweeter than that. And it's that the person who's having trouble in that reality that is constrictive, that we've talked about so many times, and Cryon has too. The constrictive, patterned suffering of fear and anger. Just all the control and all that stuff. And it's a very simple geometric, and it's quite contagious in that it's so simple, everybody's got it. And in stress, it's easier to get simple, right? And then there's the geometric, the consciousness fields of love. And forgiveness. And compassion. Compassion. And that's a very, very complex geometric. Contains within it the simpler geometric. If it's helpful to call it a lower vibration, that's okay. A lower amperage, a more painful expression, a more painful experience. To close, I want to mention something that has really helped me, and that is the sensation I used to have of energetic whiplash. And it's always been there. But I have seen it really, really up close. And I've experienced it energetically. And it's become really uncomfortable. And by stop and start, I mean feeling good and then not. Feeling good and then not. Feeling hope and then not. Feeling this and then not. feeling drive, feeling competent, feeling whatever's good, and then not. Stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. That has been a theme, excuse me, in my thinking just today, and it's just been astounding how many messages I received on this. What I learned in my body habitus, I learned at an intentional orgasm workshop when there was a phenomenal moment, and in the height of something that is it's inappropriate. It wasn't simple pleasure. And I understood and reported that I understand God to be amplitude, understand God to be yes. It never says no. It never says no. There's always more, always more, always more, never ending. Zeal and enthusiasm and love and just bursting. That's what we are, what we come from, to what we return. It never ends, and there's always more, and it's so good. And it was me, by virtue of my nose, my doubt, and my fear, that it stopped it. It's the only thing that can. And it was understood, it wasn't with blame or shame. It's just like being a kid and being handed a toy within which contains the answers to the mysteries of the multiverses. An infant is just going to bang on the table with it and slobber on it. A toddler is going to dink with the buttons. A teenager is going to be pissed at it. Later. In repose. It opens on its own. It was made to take the beatings of a toddler and an infant, and it could certainly handle a little bit of anger. And it wasn't going to reveal itself until the viewer could receive it. It dawned on me what it's like to be around someone who humbles me so completely because they're so beautiful. They make better choices than I do when it comes to loving. And they humble me because they're kind to me. And in that kind of light, I realize how intolerant I can be, how impatient, how crude, how petty. And they wind up not liking me very much. One person would feel the need to then look at those things and come to terms with them and peace with them. Holding the person who's shown them a different way in respect. And feeling gratitude and tender loving care. Another. Feeling that humility, feeling dressed down by themselves, by virtue of standing next to someone so magnificently humble and loving. In their confusion and grief and sadness, might want to do nothing more than extinguish the one reminding them of a different way that's so available every day. One choice away every day, every moment. And I kind of got it. That it's the person who can see bigger who has the bigger responsibility. And I hadn't really seen that. Can't you tell? Walking around like a baby saying, hey, nobody will recognize me. Well, you know, live a lifetime of that without explanation. Go what I've gone through. See if you'd do the same. Maybe you'd make more royal judgments than I. Maybe it would be really sweet lemonade. But this is what I did with it. I talked about the one person in the room being able to change everything for a lot of people. And that might not actually happen until the eclipse, but it was entirely possible. And I think this in 2211, I think this is that information. It's being able to contain that pain, that fear, that panic, and not react to it as if it's real. And that's really, that takes practice. That takes the observer actually taking their rightful place. Because until that happens, boy oh boy, that's like a guitar string getting plucked. If there's that song going off, it'll go off in you. Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's not so much countering it, drowning it out, arguing with it, nullifying it, silencing it. No. It's not about becoming that note and doing as it tells you that you must resonate with that note and that note alone because it's the only one. Well, you know, it's a nice note. It's a bass note, but it's not the only note. So I've been seeing a lot of geometrics, and it's been very helpful. And so the reason I come is that I can remember an entire year of this, of such rapid growth, of vision after vision after vision, video after video after video, and having this be non-stop. And I'm in the position where that could happen again. And so I'm coming to say out loud, for my benefit, more than yours, that's not what's going to happen. What you're seeing today is a triple header for a reason. There's a lot coming up for me, socially, professionally, solically, as part of this whole process. And I am very proud of my work. I know, I don't have to think, I know that it is a valuable historical document. And that will become more and more clear as time passes. That's all that's required. It's all that's ever been required. Hence, my patience. Hence, my willingness to work in obscurity. It's not necessarily for this audience, for this time even. But here I am, ahead of the curve, as always. So, now it's about engulfing it all, to be honest with you. To me, what there is no fence means is that instead of now only focusing visually on what's in front of me, to the exclusion of everything around me, and seeing only what was staring at me from the other side of the fence, a fair, true, and astoundingly beautiful reflection of my consciousness. I believed it was real. And so this feeling that I've had that I've been disbelieving esoterics. It's sort of funny because now I'm really seeing that disbelief works both ways. And it's harder and harder to believe that the house is on fire when it's another Wednesday afternoon and I've got someone tearing around, irrationally upset, convinced they're engulfed in flames. It's a little bit gross to me now that I would have ever felt anything but compassion and love towards someone in that condition. Not because I've been there, because look at it. How can I not? How can I make fun of it? Or sit and wonder about it rather than minister to it? Well, I'm not entirely a cold person. I've been a nurse and been at the bedside for quite a while. I've doused my share of engulfed human beings. I can assure you. I'm talking metaphorically. Okay? I just think that it's kind of a nullifying thing to be around someone who's really advanced, or it can be. But someone who's really advanced isn't doing the nullifications. Sorry. So when I'm going, come on. I'm having a conversation with myself, dude. And there are some things that need to be adjusted, need to be said out loud, need to be acknowledged. It's not a bad thing. But when all is said and done, oh, come on. I am another you. You are another me. And, some people are on a really bad trip this life. You want to take a look at my life, you could say the same thing if you wanted to put on those glasses. I certainly did most of the time. Good God. Yikes. So it's kind of like, I guess I could do the switch if it's just like not reacting quite as much and not making fun, just recognizing the concern and all that. Yeah, I'm going to be mobilized by certain things. Yes, and be triggered by certain things. Why not? But for how long? So that's why I bring it up. I have to give myself a way out. I have to give myself an exit strategy, as my friend Nancy has said to me before. And I have. I've said many times, maybe you may not see me anymore until I am publishing my novel. I don't know, but you can expect that I might just boop. I know leading up to these events, it's probably not a bad thing to talk about these things. The shift is underway and it's pretty intense, and there's a lot of information, a lot of things to capture. I'm not entirely sure how long that's going to go on. And I get it. I felt very drawn to looking at these eclipse videos. And I saw a channel and watched it twice called Eclipse Gifts and Miracles. And it's as if there's not a lot of memory between then and now. It's hard for me to even imagine what happened, and I had to go back and piece it together, is what I realized. And it's not because I'm losing my mind or I have dementia. It's because things are just shifting. And the themes are, the same filing system is in place that I've always had. Follow an affect. Follow a relationship. Follow a thought form. All the way through time, I can go and give you a very good chronology. But ask me for a date and ask me what happened then. I don't know. Other people have that specialty licked, not me. So I've yet again been invited to hate on this, and it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna pass. That's cool. I'm gonna understand that today is a day at a time for me, because there's a lot coming up, and it really is no longer about parsing, arguing, even celebrating verbally. It's about boots on the ground. And I certainly can do that and be consumed by this, but I really don't want to anymore. I know of 2 people who are expecting phone calls from me today. And it has to get done today. But there are people waiting for me now. And I've been looking forward to hanging out with them and not being uncomfortable. And that's what's happening, so there you go. And it's just great to continue with my home projects and to apply for Medicaid and to keep connected. I have become unemployed, I guess you could say, before. I've been handed the keys to the kingdom before. And they were given to me for the purpose of expression. And I did that. And I was employed then. Now I've been handed the keys to the kingdom again. I've been given the ultimate gift, my freedom. 3344. And with it now, rather than discover my beautiful internal lands, it's really time to put on my walking shoes and just start walking. It's what every mystic does in the end, don't they? You take your time in the mystery schools. You get to the place where you finally can say that you're no longer an initiate. And when you deem yourself complete, the work begins. And I've known this to be a motif. I haven't gone back to the Bible because it's been tinkered with. But there's a switch that happened. And I want to explore it. There was a change of expression, a change of orientation, a change of method, mission, and message. In one of the enlightenment stories I know, and I want to go back to it. There are many. Many. A tradition that stretches back tens of thousands of years here on Earth. Not new, but now done in new energy. Now completed in new energy. Something brand new. So I'm seeing the eclipse more as a gift, a cooperative gift that I will be partaking in as much as giving. And I really love that idea of being able to see my mom, see my mother, see my father, and visit with the whales in my family. Big Mama, Big Papa. Before everything split so far apart. Just the two. Just them and me. So yeah, those are big things, aren't they? But for what end? Just to feel it? Just because I decided that's what's on my roster? Just because it's what I decided is my reality? I stand. Among hundreds of thousands of people just like me, changing in front of other people's eyes just like me, then I have the audacity to do it out loud in front of a camera with an attitude, no less. Well then, so much the better. So that's why I'm saying, as long as it's purposeful, I'll do it. So if an event occurs, or a realization, or a healing, you better believe I'll be in front of this camera. And Lord Almighty, there were 4 videos in 24 hours, so there was a lot going on, wasn't there? And now I can kind of feel that there'll be a longer integration, because we've got some reinterpretation of physical reality which has got to occur before the eclipse. I don't really feel like anything is urgent, but it just feels right, and therefore it is not appropriate to not do it. Do you see what I mean? It's appropriate to do it and not argue with it, to not slow it down, to not get the download, consider it, explain it, dissect it. It's just not time anymore. So, the admonition is I get to watch this one before any more publishing, because now it's time not to begin. We're not going there anymore with our consciousness. The stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. There is no stopping. This is ongoing. It's not all or nothing, and it's not all at once. It's ongoing. Every process in my life, including my spiritual unfoldment, it's never stopped. And the only person who's put the brakes on it is me. And I did that when I wasn't really, when I was on a quest. And the quest now is to give love. To feel love. To know love. To be love. To be neutral. Just stand down from educating, to stand down from announcing, to stand down, and instead to ready to live, to be, and by so doing to demonstrate. So if something juicy happens along the way, well, okay. You'll see me again. Never say never. But I have 2 phone calls I need to now return. Emphasis that that daily walk teeming with individuals I can now see and feel above me. And not just the ones who give me approval. Everyone. Because there is no fence. And it's not because I'm hypnotized by what I see. It's because I recognize what I see. But no longer resonate with it as my truth. But as contrast of my truth. And so it is.